experiencing right now. I mean, particularly today, a lot of hostility and aggression, and it comes out of nowhere. I mean, it's interesting because I've been doing the guitar, the guitar practice, and I've been doing the liquid light, and I feel that must be triggering people around me because the aggression and the hate is just so immense. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to not burst out crying.
It is really intense and it's incredibly challenging when you're sensitive. I think there's also a number of other additional layers of triggering that go on in our culture. If you're female, if you're a person of color, if you're creative, artistic, yeah. There are, the system, the current 3D system is really an anti-life system. So it is going to attack women, people of color, and creative people, because those are all huge sparks of creativity and light in the world. And they they've tried to get rid of that for so long, and it's just not working. And they're really pissed. Okay, so the number one thing I could say to you around that is we'll do some info about energetic hygiene. Don't take it personally. When you take it personally, like, oh, they're attacking me, what did I do? It just generates quanta for them. It's reaction quanta, and they'll suck it off of you. All right, and it'll leave you feeling really funky and sad and depressed and hopeless, and that generates more quanta, reaction quanta, and they'll suck that off of you. Okay, so this is the time to bubble up. I'm going to show the cards I got in a minute because I drew some cards. Bubble up. Don't take it personally. Okay, and you have a tribe. You have a tribe.
Appreciate it.
All right, so thank you, Michelle. And I do know, like, they're not playing around now. They're not playing around. And
like I've told you just a while ago, this person snuck up behind my mother in Germany and coughed on her with purpose. It's like,
yes.
Why?
Well, in the course, there's information about those dynamics that people are having at a micro level. There's a really well-organized, intentional macro, systemic macro that filters down, like everything, through energy and intention. Everything is energy and intention and consciousness. And there are those who carry a consciousness where intentional harm and being able to generate negative intention imprint quanta, that's what they eat. So it's going to be coming down to the macro, to the micro, to the micro, to the micro, to the micro, to someone sneezing on your mother, all right?
Yeah.
We're not defenseless. In fact, we're more than defenseless. We're actually quite empowered at this point, and that's pissing them off even more. Just saying. Okay, and there are dynamics, and that's part of the course, is to have everyone have the information so you can really do loving self-care and get your energetic system so you are just continually choosing to step out of reaction, not taking it personally, standing up for yourself when you have to in a very specific, conscious, intentional way that does not give away any of your power or your living light. That's the practice right now. Okay, it's hard. You're working in a bank. Holy moly. All right, thank you. Okay, Brandon and Lisa, I'm gonna ask you to share next. And I see someone is waiting to come in. I'm gonna admit the person.
Turn the slide on.
Okay. Hi, Brandon.
Hi.
Hi, Lisa. Okay. Hi, Juliet.
So we're sharing how the current COVID crisis pandemic is affecting us. I'm feeling torn between being compassionate for the world, really tapping into the suffering that's happening around me, and torn between that and the creative energy that is inherent to me, the positivity, the optimism, the planning for the future that requires us to come together. So I feel torn. You know, I am choosing to stay within the creative, optimistic flow very intentionally. And I'm feeling that that comes with the consequence of having to very intentionally fight against the shadow that wants me to be very reactional, wants me to be very fearful, wants me to see this current crisis as the only reality right now for me. And I know that's not.
Bam!
Right?
Bam!
That's not what's happening. There's
Right.
many realities happening. You know, so I feel like my responsibility in this moment is to protect myself, to protect my family and my loved ones, to send positive energy, quanta to those who are suffering, to those who I want to protect, and also simultaneously continue to plan for the future.
Both and.
Both, that's right. That's right. So that's where I'm at.
Both and. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you guys are in Philadelphia. They're actually very close to me, and it's incredibly wonderful.
We're neighbors.
We're neighbors. Lisa, do you have anything that you'd like to share?
Yes. I'm feeling a lot of nurturing energy. Like I really, for my home base, I feel like I really, really want to care. And the pull, of course, is leaving that to go out into the world where all this stuff is circling around and all the anxiety and fear. Finding the balance between being in the loving, nurturing reality that I feel when I'm at home. And as I'm saying this, remembering to use the practices that we're learning prior to stepping out. I'm very grateful that that's there for me. So that's my shadow often tells me, oh, take care of everyone else, just go do, and don't do self-care. So that's my daily reminder that I have to work on that aspect of my shadow. So
Thank you for sharing that, because in this time, which is so dynamic and so full of it's crisis, but it's also opportunity, that noting the shadow in that way, I will again, because I'm talking about accelerated conscious evolution, has to do with our DNA and which strands of DNA are activated and which strands of DNA are being whacked by Team Dark and have been whacked, right? So what you're describing as the shadow is very recognizable to a woman and or a person of color. Everybody comes first before you. You're last on the list to get anything, let alone self-care, right?
mm-hmm.
Now, Brendan, in response to what you shared, there's a place where obviously we're doing our practice, we're doing our work. We're not fighting shadow. We're entering a more profound, more complex, more conscious relationship with shadow. Because the only way we can see it for what it is and interact with it responsibly and with full freedom of choice is to see it. We can't see it if we're fighting with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm.
It.
Mm.
Be in relationship with it. Okay? Yeah. And at the same time, it's both and.
Yeah.
Be a warrior for your wholeness.
My step has been thank you and then get the hammer and whack it. But maybe it's thank you and what else? What else? What else? What else? Tell me more.
There's tell me more, but there's also authority.
Uh-huh. I see. Yeah.
Which is thank you very much for sharing the information that you have. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I am in authority in this body.
Uh-huh. I see.
Beginning and end of story. And I will remind you of this at every turn as I am inviting you and as I am working with my own physical and spiritual structures to have you understand that you are about to become homeless in terms of my physical body.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because of choices that have been made prior to this moment.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And when we're sorting through, I can tell you from having done just so much of this shadow work and not synthesizing shadow, not fighting shadow, but being in relationship with shadow and really claiming my wholeness and my authority. Really claiming it. And the experience is I get my quanta back. When I engage with shadow in this way and I transform it and I use the practices and I have a conscious understanding of what I'm in and know that there's help. We are surrounded. The pity of it is that most human beings can't feel it, see it, or know it, or trust it.
Mm-hmm.
We are surrounded by higher consciousness that is source aligned. So know that there is connection. Know that there is support. Know that there is a buddy who can get you through a rough patch. Yeah? Let me just say, and we're going to go on with introductions, but sometimes it's really helpful to just let things roll out, right? The intentionality of COVID at the cellular and atomic level is separation.
That's right.
Can we get them at the cellular level to separate from each other in themselves? We've done it at the cultural level. We've done it at the racial level.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it at the national borders level.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it at, warring factions level. So for me, this is it's a kind of a creepy return to the energy of the atomic bomb. That was very, very density 1 etheric level, kerpow, blow things up, blow the organic structure of everything's DNA after that point, right? So understand that at the most profound level, what's happening with this virus dynamic is the ultimate separation. That's one aspect of it. Okay, the other aspect of it is that it is a division. There will be people who are not going to get this virus. There will be people like me who are immune. There will be, there's a whole other thing happening here that's about not separation, but division. And not division in a negative way, one against the other. Division about what one is for, where one is aligned. If you are aligned with Team Dark, there you go. The division is serving you so that you can carry forward with that consciousness and that alignment and those consequences. Right? If you're aligned with Source, The division is I'm moving homeward, sourceward. I'm making those choices, and I will experience those consequences as well because I am a co-creator. Now, we will tend to find those consequences land on us as benefits, which is wonderful, right? Okay, so that in a really big way is what this virus is doing. And if some of you remember several weeks back, we did a global meditation in which we actively chose to interact with the virus and encourage it to go global. We did. And to be an agent of transformation. And it is.
That's radical.
Cheers.
Okay. All right. Okie dokie. That's my kind of response to where what you're bringing me to bring in energy and quanta to that. Thank you for that. Okay, we have Juliet Dillon. Juliet, do you feel like you're wanting to show your face and say hi and where you're from and just maybe that? Or if you don't want to, that's fine. But I'd love to see you. Do you know how to make this work? Maybe not. Well, maybe you do. Okay. You can speak. You're off mute.
Hi, I'm Juliet. I'm from Florida, and my mom's Michelle Dillon.
Thank you for being here. Okay. And if that's all you want to say, you can mute yourself again. And thank you very, very much for just saying a quick hello to us. And we have someone on the phone, 1352 guest. We would love to, if you can just say hello, and you're unmuted now. We'd just love to say, hear your name and say hello.
Hi, I'm Tara. I'm Michelle's friend. She invited me today and from Florida, and just wanting to eavesdrop and maybe gain a little insight today.
Welcome. Thank you. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So for those of you who, you know, Michelle knows me, Brandon and Lisa know me, but there are people on this call who don't know me. I don't want to take the time to tell you my story, but I will put in the chat. You can visit my website and learn much more about my story. And there's a bio page there, and I'm also on LinkedIn. There's information there. So if you're curious about that and how it is that I came to be doing what I'm doing now, and I have been doing it for 31 years now, since 1989, oh my gosh. At that time, what we're discussing and experiencing today was being prepared for in a long period of preparation. And I would ask you to consider that so that you can maybe find the perspective that what we're in has been prepared for on both sides, and that the polarization has just expanded and increased for a long time now, and where we're headed in what I call the ascension process, which is accelerated conscious evolution. That's all it is. It's more and more of your own complexity as a whole being, which is a multidimensional experience. That polarization in those of us who are on the path of self-awareness and connection and coming out of separation and embracing our own wholeness as a mystery, in some way a DNA puzzle that we'd like to find out more about and possibly get to know and solve consciously, then it's an opportunity to feel less anxiety. I am absolutely crystal clear that there's been preparation. I'm crystal clear I've been part of it for 31 years. And that affords me a calm and a peace and an ability to stay connected to my wholeness and be able to connect to other people in a way that can perhaps, if nothing else, be reassuring for a few minutes about how wonderful you are. That's it, really. It's rediscovering how wonderful you are. And we're all walking miracles. So there is that. Okay. All right. So let me just say that there are kind of three things happening simultaneously, and I am going to mute everybody at this point. Jack, and okay. There is a function, I love this platform Zoom because there is a function where you can pop something, type something into the chat, and let me know if you want to speak. I don't want to necessarily dominate the conversation, but I do want to talk about what's happening right now. So you have a perspective on it for yourself personally, but also for the accelerated conscious evolution that's coming up. We've just completed round one, and each class, I share cherry-picked information, primarily based on my own experience. As a, we've got neighbor's dog barking, conscious co-creation catalyst in many ways, as a creative, as a spiritual, oh, I don't know. I just, for most of my life, I just thought of myself as a mutant because I couldn't find anyone else like me. I mean, I really couldn't. And now there's lots of people. It's very exciting. But we've had to find our way. Part of our being the spiritual warriors for our own wholeness was years and years and years of finding our own way and to remaining connected to our own wholeness in our hearts and remaining connected to a sense of something much larger and incredibly powerful. But that's something we experienced as wise, loving, intelligent, and really guiding us to make the best choices to experience life in an amazing way, conscious co-creator. So like everybody else, I've been through a lot of stuff and I've made a lot of crazy choices and had a lot of emotional drama and trauma, had a fair amount of drama bonding in my emotional body that I had to clear. But I had a head start because I was born with tremendous amount of soul memory. When I was 12 years old, I was already having beautiful waves of information about memory of other lives meeting me in my everyday life. And I never said a word to anyone. This was experience I carried by myself and worked it out by myself and chose books to read by myself and stayed in my room a lot reading and making art by myself. So I could activate my DNA without any extra. I was lucky. All right. So what's going on? We are in an ascension cycle. And everything I say to you, take it with a grain of salt. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you don't feel some truth ringing bells going off in your body, that's just fine. Then this information isn't for you. But I'm still glad you're here. And know that you have to make your own choice and trust your own sense of what is relevant. Okay, so there we go. We are in an ascension cycle. And an ascension cycle in the well universe, the Milky Way is not a well universe. It's a very sick universe. Been sick for a long time. Basically, I recognized when I was 9 years old that I was living in hell. It didn't take a lot of observation to realize this and recognize it. The day that I really fully recognized it, I was at the dentist and I was in the waiting room and I was 9 years old, and I picked up an issue of the magazine Life on his one of his waiting room tables, and on the front cover was an image of a person who had been utterly and completely mutilated by the atomic bomb, a child. And I looked at that picture and I just, it all went in. It all went in at once. Where could you possibly be that this could be happening? That one set of human beings would do this to another set of human beings. The only place where this goes on is hell. Oh boy. Okay then, alrighty. Wow, right? But that was helpful for me because I didn't have any illusions about where I was. I had some questions about how I got there, but I didn't have any illusions about where I was. So understanding our condition is really helpful, because when you can see it for what it is, that's when your consciousness opens and expands so that you can ask really great questions. And my favorite question is, what's really going on here? Tried and true. So discernment is powerful. The experience of having everything that arrives in your life experience as first understanding that it's information. It's energy, it's information, it's consciousness. And what do you want to do with that when it shows up in your everyday life space? So there's that going on, because what we're experiencing right now is information, energy, and consciousness. And when we can step back and feel it and see it and recognize it and ask questions, then we're able to make choices which enable us to align more and more with our own wholeness. So there's that going on. The political drama, I think it's interesting that every nation pretty much now on earth is in some sort of political economic crisis, because the system that we grew up in, the hell, the 3D construct, it's collapsing. It is collapsing. And we need to be really clear that there's a part of the reality that we've been living in. We're living in a blended reality. We've been living in a blended reality, heaven and hell locked together in binary code opposition to each other, which is unnatural. That is unnatural. And it's taken us a long time to wake up to where we're like, what? Okay. So we've had to unpack a lot of information. We've had to unpack ideologies and mythologies and stories. There's the Christianity story. With that comes the Team Dark scenario, trauma of sacrifice and forgiveness. Ooh, big one. Because if you're a good Christian, you're just going to sacrifice. Like our Lord, you're going to sacrifice. And you're going to forgive those who nailed you up to the wooden boards, right? This is, I'm just going to say it. If I offend you, I apologize now. This is Team Dark nonsense. Powerful, 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 powerful negative intention imprint, which has damaged our human DNA substantially. Marketed like crazy. Evangelism. And I will say to you right now that the COVID virus, COVID-19, is being marketed, heavily marketed like a product. You can choose whether or not you're going to buy that. Every organized religion on this planet is carrying some form of team dark distortion. Sorry. Everyone. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and then you can go into the non-denominational ones, branches of all of that. So another part of what is going on is right now people are going to be pushed right up against their religious ideologies and their sense of a male, all-powerful God who is a jealous God. Every version of the major religions is carrying that distortion. We're clearing that out because if you're into that right now, it's not going to help you. It's not going to help you. It's going to be revealed to you that there's something there for you to discover underneath the ideology that is real, that will help. And I'm not an atheist. I have an incredible direct connection with the other force of life. And I remember when I started, was 8 years old. When I was eight, I read the Bible through cover to cover for the first time. I've done that 3 times. And I eventually became an ordained Christian minister. And in doing that, I began asking questions because I kept tripping over inconsistencies. Like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense, or that doesn't follow that. And I was surrounded by adults who I had a pastor in the I could just say, like, could I read you this? Could you go over this with me? Because this is not making any sense to me. And that was around that time, through the first reading of the Bible, that I decided I would leave church. My family was Episcopalian. And we went to church, and I was in the choir, and I really loved it. Then I recognized in Sunday school that there was something going on. There was a context that we were being presented with, and there was an underneath something that wasn't lining up around the story of love and suffer little children to come unto me. And I'm like, So I let my parents know I would not be going to church anymore, that it wasn't making sense to me. Heart sense, let alone mental sense. But it was important for me to do that exercise. And that was around that time. The second time I read the Bible in full, I spent a year with an amazing woman who was a Jehovah's Witness. And she came to my house, lovely woman, and we met every Friday afternoon for a year, with her presenting me with her Jehovah's Witness perspective and me sharing what my thoughts and values were. Fantastic, fantastic. That was my second reading of the Bible. And at that time, I had done other historical research, and I knew that the Bible as we know it, the Christian Bible, is it's a cut and paste job, where the Judaic scriptures, the New Testament is just kind of just pasted onto the back end of that, and supposed to make perfect sense. It doesn't. So that one is when I recognized that the New Testament didn't have anything to do with the rest of the Judaic the Judeo stuff, the Jewish stuff, that, right? None of it made any sense. Just cut and paste, copy. Big story. Swallow it whole. Don't think. Don't ask questions. Feel your emotional body. Feel the power of the story. Get into the masochism and the sadism of the Crusades. Get into the masochism and the sadism of the Spanish Inquisition. Get into the masochism and the sadism of Catholicism. Where right now, where is COVID gone crazy? Spain and Italy. We are operating now. This place is being cleaned out at the atomic, cellular, etheric level. And the energy that is doing the cleaning out knows everything because it created everything. There are no secrets. Everything is known. Everything is known. So that part of religion is God knows what's in your heart. Like, that's true, actually. The rest of it, not so much. Okay, so what's happening now is these threads are all being very carefully untangled with a real intent for as little breakage of what is whole and what has potential to be whole as possible. Right? So the other amazing gift of this time that we're in is that everybody's laid off. Except for Michelle. Michelle, I don't know, you got to be really super strong because you're not laid off. And Lisa's not laid off, but she's still in a place where she can choose what she wants to do. But everyone has been given the gift of time. Time, which you can turn your focus from out there to in here. An incredible. Now we are about 17 or 18 days into the announcement of this thing as a pandemic. By now people are going stir crazy. They've gone for their walks, they've been binge watched Netflix, they've cooked everything under the sun and frozen half of it, right? They've stocked up on toilet paper. Okay, you're parked, you can't go anywhere, you can't get on a plane, you seriously encouraged to just get in and out of the supermarket as fast as possible. Don't talk to anyone, don't touch anyone. Where else are you going to turn your attention to but in here? Now this is going to go on as long as it needs to. People are like, how long? As long as is necessary. So the opportunity in this crisis is to take that valuable time for yourself, for your self-care, for feeling your loving connections to friends and family, for doing your best to repair difficult relationships, doing hygiene, spiritual hygiene, energetic exercises to safeguard your own quanta. Do what you can to activate your own DNA strands so that you are coming into your spiritual alignment in ways that allow your heart to connect to your intuition so that you can trust yourself. And so that people who love you and care about you, their intuition is also operating on your behalf now. And your intuition is operating on their behalf. Intuition is our human version of the internet. I-N-N-E-R-N-E-T, internet. Okay? Let me be clear that the physical technology that we are sharing today to be in communication and connection with each other would not exist without human hands, brains, fingers, effort, participation. It is a form of consciousness and thought that has been three-dimensionalized. Every time you touch your phone or use your computer, please recognize that it is a three-dimensionalized object that is connected to your own inner net. So when you are having a relationship now and you're using your tech, claim your authority as its co-creator. And I'm talking about those friggin' AI bots. I have conversations with the bots. I put my hands on my computer and I say, hey, you know what? You are an extension of my consciousness, as is every other object I interact with. You are not an object for which I am an extension of your consciousness. That is just ass backwards. But that is what Team Dark would like you to buy, and they market it very heavily. All right, I'm going to out myself. I'm going to share a couple of it because they've been trying to stop me for years, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm not from here. I don't play by your rules. There's like no stopping me. So too bad, right? Okay. I do a lot online, as we all do. And as time has been going by, as part of the shrinking entropy and squelching voices, the internet and the AI have been carefully maneuvering, shutting off the tap for people who are connected. This has been happening for quite a while. So, because from the Team Dark point of view, they would like to really kill us, destroy us, make us homeless, make sure we just die miserable, horrible deaths, because that would make them very happy. All right. So there's a thing about poverty and keeping spiritual people suppressed so they don't have the resources they need. Yeah, nobody knows who you are, nobody knows what you're doing, you don't have any resources. We don't have to worry about you anymore. We've turned off your light. Yeah, so I've been experiencing this as I've been working through my shadow, because that was the moment when it was like, okay, let's do it. Here we go. We're going to do it now. We're going to seriously do it. So in the course, you will learn how to manage your energy field, right? Now, I'm going to tell you this, and this is being recorded. I'm not worried now. It's too late. But I couldn't pay my internet bill. I didn't have any money. I really didn't have any money. I've been borrowing money, and people have been fantastically. I didn't have any money. Like, no money. Goose, with crickets, no money. At that time, I still had a working computer, and I'm still like, okay, we've got to get this information out. I'm going to keep doing it, even if nobody ever hears it or sees it. I've done my job. I've put it out there. My YouTube Living Lessons Library YouTube was just wiped out by Google. I had over 500 videos up there, right? From 2012. Tons of information. Fortunately, some of the interviews I've done were on other people's channels, and I could kind of get them back. So they shut down my YouTube account. My internet, the intention was for me not to be able to communicate. Well, the internet went off, technically, because I didn't pay the bill. but I had signal. My energy field, the work that I'm doing, my internet, I had signal. And this went on for 3 months. I was so grateful. And then I would feel like I'd go like wireless in my bedroom, and the signal would get weak. And then I would use my energy field, the free energy in my energy field, to amp the signal. It worked. This was a 3-month period of validation for me. Like, I cannot tell you how powerful that was. Then Team Dark was like, oh, Christ. All right, we're going to kill her computer. Computer died. Like, okay. Because of the shadow work that I had done, which I teach you in this course, I recognized that for what it was. And working with the shadow and understanding what it does to your DNA and what happens to your DNA changes what you see and experience in your everyday reality. That transitioned, and people's generosity in my tribe, they just send me a new computer. But a week before that happened, I had no idea that they were going to do that. I was just walking around in my apartment, being my little bubbly self, bubble, I'm in the bubble. And my thought was, wouldn't it be nice if I just got a new computer? I didn't say how. I didn't say, wouldn't it be nice if I could buy a new computer? I was like, this wouldn't be nice if I got a new computer. A week later, one was delivered to my house. Recently, with all this COVID stuff, I've had for a long time, I haven't had a car. And I have had to rely on friends and my son. I've been driving my son crazy. Can I, like a 16-year-old, Dad, can I have the car today? You know, it's so funny, the role reversal. And a few weeks ago, before pandemic, before lockdown, I was wandering around the house, and I'm developing something with Lisa and Brandon, and you know, I can walk there, but it's a little, you know, on a rainy day, it would be kind of not so great. And I thought, it'd be really nice to have a car. And within a week, my son came over, and he said, "Hey, Mom, you know what? We're home. We're both working from home. They just bought a new car." He said, "Here, I brought the car over here. Here are the keys." This is the result of accelerated conscious evolution and doing shadow work, which is part of your ascension journey. So I'm just sharing with you because we kind of can't believe it until these small things, these validations of the work we've done, the work we're doing, the wholeness for ourselves and others we're holding in our own hearts. I want to promise you that all of that right now is protected and safe and is being amplified in beautiful waves of energy that have been coming in waves. Those of us who consider ourselves healers or light workers, we felt these waves. We felt them come in. And we're like, whoa, what was that? Right? And they're still coming. And we're still expanding. And we're still connecting. And what's happening now is ascension little islands are being created. So I have a space that I've been holding for 8 years now that I've been very conscious about what happens in this space and my relationship to it. Where Lisa and Brandon live, they've been doing the same thing. We have another neighbor who's done the same thing. We have become little floating bubbled islands of ascension that are separating from the 3D construct. We've already separated. That happened already. And we're going like this in the ocean of consciousness, right? And it's getting very local. And I'm like, a year ago, I started thinking about, gosh, I got to meet some local people. And a long time ago, Lisa was planning something. And then what happened was, the help put us together. The help us together. And we said, wow, yes, okay. So this, Michelle, you're going to get out of the bank. It's going to happen for you. Do the shadow work, clear your DNA, get the junk, the miasms, the distortions out of the way, and be surprised. Be surprised. So the thing that I can help you most with is really specific energetic exercises so that you can continue to expand and do your accelerated conscious evolution and be in a bubble that helps you manage the slams that are going to come, because they're going to come. They're daily right now. And you can really, those of us who are sensitive can feel them, right? Because now it's coming up through the earth. There's a layer of static energy that is underneath, several miles down in the earth and several miles up in the atmosphere, where there's an electrostatic net. And one of the things that Elon Musk has done, launching all his satellites up there, is to hold this net in place. Because that's how they're going to, when the 3D construct really goes, it'll last for another, I don't know, maybe 1,000,000 years or whatever, until the sun dies. The sun is dying. That's how they're going to control people. Why are they controlling people? They can't let their quanta get away. Any good farmer would make sure he has solid electrical fencing to keep his livestock where he wants it to be. Right? So that's there. This energy is now coming up through the feet. I felt the vibration coming up through the feet just before the COVID thing hit. I felt it in my feet. And I was like, what the heck is this? Right? So the hygiene around you has to include your whole body. You can't neglect your feet. And we can learn about that. So we're about at time. I know you guys are having experiences of your own. Yeah? So if you're willing to hang on a little longer, let's hear some of them. I'd love to hear them. And I would encourage you to take this course. I mean, it's 4 Saturdays. Most of us are stuck home anyway. You've binge watched everything. Why not sign up for a course that could be part of you maintaining your own integrity and emotional intelligence and authority, so you're not getting eaten by Team Dark, nitpicking at you every day, right? That's a choice, but I encourage you. Everybody who's here is signed up. I can send you a link for the course. I mean, it's out there on the internet, but if you're interested, you can let me know in the chat that you might want to do it. It's an hour and a half on a Saturday night. We do it from 7:30 to 9. For 4 weeks in a row. You would be starting, some of you would be starting at level 1. Some people are going on to level 2. The information stays in place. I use Dropbox so that it's archived and it's organized by class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. And we have audio, we have video, we have print and PDFs, and we have images. In addition to that, on Wednesday evenings, we're holding an open technique run where the techniques that I introduced to you in the class, we all come together and we do those technique practices together. Group energy, even online works. Okay. And then I'm doing these introductory Q&As once a month so people can bring other people. And you can check out the website. That's all I can do. But I do have internet back. Here. And I have, Brandon is being amazing. He's helping me with social media. And Lisa is, we're forming a new wellness center. They have a wonderful space. I have space for my, bioenergetics practice there now. I have space for my opportunity to do workshops and classes there now, and even a fully private suite, 2 bedrooms, living room, kitchenette, and full bath for personal retreats for people who are going to find themselves in deeper moments of crisis, and they might need a little bit of extra time and be ready to make a bigger investment in their self-care right now. it's up for them in a way that they can't ignore or manage incrementally. Most of us are going to be able to manage this incrementally. All right, so I'm going to unmute everybody, and if you have something to share, I'm loving to hear it. And this is being recorded, and this recording will go up on our website. So if you've signed up, I can send you the link in case you'd like to share the recording with other people. All right? Okay. Lisa?
Yeah, okay. So the other day, what day was it? Day before yesterday, Friday, I was driving home and I kept seeing, what is it? What's the color? It's the indigo in the sky. I'm like, what? Indigo into purple, yes. What am I seeing as I'm driving home? What? It just would appear as like threads of moving energy. Brandon and I won't speak, I mentioned it to him and he said,
I saw it as well during my meditation. It was braided up on the where the wall meets the ceiling. It was just braided. And I'm like, what? Okay, whatever.
yeah.
That's the violet energy flow coming in.
Yeah.
You'll see gold, you'll see violet, you may see some green, you may see some blue as well.
Yeah, I've been seeing that too.
Thank you for sharing that, because I have been looking up at the sky and I was like, what are they hiding? Because it's becoming obvious. We are moving our ascension, those of us who are ascending are moving into a new energetic space where we will be joining bigger organizations of consciousness, planets, communities that are whole and healthy. And seeing that information is part of recognizing where you are and where you're headed. Fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it's trippy, right? You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like purple rain. Like, really?
Yeah.
Prince, really? Oh my, he was so, there's so many people walking around right now that are fully awake, aware, and able.
I was talking about Prince.
Thank you. So, anyone else want to share a moment? An unusual? That's an energetic. All right. No one wants to say anything else. Here's what I'm going to leave you with. If you can imagine the color of gold, yeah, the one thing that you can do to keep yourself in your own energetic authority is just stand still in a place anywhere in your house. You know, you jump out of the shower, where you're cooking dinner, where before you leave the house, just bubble yourself, put a bubble of gold energy around you. And usually the gold will not come alone. It will come maybe with a little violet, a little turquoise, and a little pink, but that's okay. Just imagine that you've got a gold bubble around you. And silver is good too, little gold, little silver, right? Make sure you do this before you leave your house. Make sure you bubble up again before you get in your car to drive anywhere. Then sit in your car, and before you pull away, bubble up your car.
No, thank you.
Right? I'm going to leave you with that because that's a really good tip. And if you remember to do it, things will be a little less wonky right now. So does anybody have any questions about the class or the course? I've tried to explain to you what our structure is, the timing of it. And we are going to do a level 2, a level 3, a level 4. And then for people who consider themselves light workers who are doing healing work or have been, this is not a time when you want to do hands-on healing work anymore. That would be another conversation. Maybe I'll do that on the next webinar. You don't want to be doing that because people are releasing their shadow whether they want to or not. You're not prepared as a healer to deal with that in a really conscious way. You could literally be taken over. So encourage anyone who's been doing hands-on energy healing to stop. There are other ways. And I'd be happy to teach them to you. Okay, so nobody has a question? All right, and I thank you all for being here today. Be safe, be well, trust the process. I know it's hard. And take really wonderful, loving care of you. And for a little while, put yourself first. Okay? Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. So what is it that you're going to learn in the Conscious Accelerated Evolution class? You're going to learn the science of spirituality. You're going to learn about your spiritual and energetic structure. You have a very complex, very dynamic structure that is formed from sound, light, and energy, vibration, and oscillation. And you're also going to learn about how you can take charge of distortions and other issues with your own DNA that are keeping you from expressing your most full and gifted self-aware being that you are. And that's also keeping you engaged in dynamics that come from what I call negative intention imprints, and they're all around us. And the most powerful thing you can do, depending on which level you decide to join, is you can begin to do detailed shadow transmutation, not shadow synthesis, not engaging the shadow in a fight on a mental level or an emotional level, but deep shadow transmutation in your very complex energetic structure in which your shadow self has become embedded and has actually trapped a really significant portion of your life force, which you then don't have to use for being a conscious co-creator in this world, sharing your gifts, and powering up your own unique ascension journey. So you're going to learn all about ascension, the science of spirituality, the science of conscious co-creation, and how to reset, realign, revitalize, regenerate your entire expression of self, including your physical body. So I do hope you'll join in. We're coming up with another cycle of level 1. We're continuing with ACE level 2. And if you've already been part of level 1, I know many of you have already decided to join. And when you come into the group, you come into a community who understands what it's like to be a sensitive, empathic person who is waking up and your own DNA is activating and you're already coming into validation of this through the experience of opening into your, what are called your clairvoyances, clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, right? Or in the Eastern culture tradition, they're called siddhis. These are your gifts. And all of these gifts are part of waking up the 12-strand DNA potential that the human being has. And right now, just getting yourself solidly on your ascension journey will require your activating 3.5 to 4 strands of your 12-strand DNA. I've been through this, I've done this, I can assist you in doing it. I'm someone who has that and more available in my life, and you can go on my website and look up my bio, et cetera, et cetera. And I do share stories about, you know, what I'm able to do and how I'm able to do it and why I do it. So I do hope you'll join the class. And when you come into the a level, right now this also includes a follow-up once a week, 1-hour interlude where we come together and practice our techniques, the energetic techniques. So that's included in your very modest class fee. And what is COVID virus doing to all of us except removing all kinds of external distractions unless you're a healthcare worker or a mom or dad who's got children home from school, in which case your distraction level has gone up exponentially. But if you're someone who's not working right now, if you're someone whose life doesn't include having to carefully steward the lives of younger human beings, this is a great opportunity for you to take the hint and go within and learn so much more about who you are and what you're truly capable of. And that's part of your divine birthright. And it's all coded right into your DNA. All you have to do is get the messy stuff out of the way. Hope to see you. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to be able to share this really beautiful healing visualization meditation with you. It is incredibly powerful. I recommend that you listen, practice, and do it every night before falling asleep or any time you are stressed or perhaps feeling unwell. Assume a comfortable position, sitting or laying down. Make sure you're warm and cozy. Close your eyes. Relax your breathing. Take a few breaths in and out and just settle into your body and have the sense of sinking into whatever it is that you're resting on at the moment, whether that's the floor, on a mat, in your bed, wherever, on the grass. Listen to the sound of your breath moving in and moving out. And with every breath in, send a sonic wave of gratitude through your entire internal self system and say, thank you. Send this wave of thank you through each of your internal organs, beginning with your heart. Take all the time you need. Visualize and feel sound waves of thank you flowing through your body, using your body's water to generate the sound carrier waves. Your heart, your lungs, your liver, your spleen, your stomach, your small and large intestine, your mouth, the organs in your pelvis, your reproductive organs, your bladder, your kidneys, your bones, your blood vessels, lymphatic system, your eyes, your ears, your sinuses, your brain. Feel the sparkling light and sparking process traveling down your spine, ending at the tip of your tailbone, and even allow your lower pelvis and your rectum and your anus to receive a sparkling thank you as well. Breathe in and allow the sound of thank you repeated flow into every part of you. From the top of your head down to your toes. Now breathe into your muscles and your tendons and all the connective tissue and the fascia. Go deeper. Send wiggles, giggles of thank you into your blood cells, into your white blood cells, lymphatic system, in your veins, your arteries. Send a reverberating thank you into each and every cell. Now, having communicated a full body thank you at the cellular level, speak to your body and say out loud or think to yourself, together we remember our divine blueprint. Next, say out loud or think to yourself, remember now, spark now. Visualize each and every cell in your entire body now being lit by a tiny spark of source light. Just one quanta is enough. Tiny spark. And repeat this as many times as you need until you feel, see, perhaps even hear sparks igniting in all of your cells. Is a delightful feeling. A little bit reminiscent of champagne bubbles popping. Now allow your sacred imagination to spontaneously fill in any additional details for your unique experience. State this intention to your body. In creating our new agreement of being, I open up space for any distortions in my body, on my body, around my body, to pass through into a space of healing transmutation without attracting or attaching dead light of any kind to our divine blueprint, or without harming any of our cells. Now feel this intention travel through your body as a soft wave of sound. And you can always say thank you again. Here is your next intention to share with your body. I gather up any distortions that may have been obscuring, hearing, seeing, knowing the perfect solidity and beauty of the divine blueprint of this body by sparking a gentle release and transmutation of any dead light distortions. This cellular sparking will continue to transmute any and all distortions, allowing them to migrate back into neutral living light that carries no karmic or negative intent imprint. With my next breath, I open up space within for any previously damaged information in my divine blueprint to pass through me as I release this damaged information into neutral healing energy fields within and around me. Take another deep breath and conclude this exercise with this statement. Oh, I relax and rest as I release and transmute into neutral energy back to its 0 point true home any distortions, disturbances, disruptions, distractions that are keeping me from simply relaxing into the truth of my divine blueprint. And I will remember and choose to consciously care for my divine blueprint in this way. Now, with another beautiful deep breath in and out, send a final wave of thank you, another sound wave through your entire body, thanking your body for the wonder of its service and cooperation with you, and how happy it makes you and cares for you without your having to think about it. Enjoy this meditation. This is Anaiis Salas, wishing you a gentle, easy, loving path of accelerated conscious evolution. And I do hope I'll see you in one of the classes or in the certification course. Brandon, where did Brandon go? Oh, he left. Okay.